All right, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of the King Ray Ray Show. Appreciate y'all joining me today. You know, we hear the saying a lot of the times, nice guys never win. Nice guys always lose. Or my favorite one, nice guys never get the girl. Here's what I want to tell you about that. If you're a nice guy, if you're a nice person, that doesn't mean you have to be a pushover. But what you can't do is allow this society to tell you that because many people are going to treat you differently because you're a nice guy, that you need to stop being a nice guy. That's not the case. If you're a nice guy and people are treating you poorly because you're a nice guy, then you're surrounded by the wrong people. You're surrounded by people who won't accept you for who you are. If you were not a nice guy, if you were a very mean guy, and the people around you didn't accept that, you feel the same way. You feel like these people aren't your crew. They aren't your tribe. They aren't your vibe. And today I want to discuss with you why people don't like nice guys, or why we generally all tend to not like nice people. It's a societal issue, and it's more prevalent in Western civilization. The US, the UK, Canada, even good old Mexico. But let's talk about it. Now, before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. You hear it's going to be a phenomenal topic while you're sitting here listening. If you subscribe now, you don't even have to worry about it. Click the bell so you'll know when I'm here again delivering some more of this phenomenal content. The number one reason that people don't like you because you're a nice guy is because most people have been raised to cope with not getting what they want. So they're repulsed by not being able to employ that defense mechanism. You see, everyone is used to getting what they want, or at least having the hopes of getting what they want. And so when they don't get it, they have an attitude, they pitch a fit, they become someone who's unbearable to be around. And so when you come around with your Mr. Nice Guy, your Mr. Nice Girl energy, they're wondering deep down inside, why are you so happy? They believe in their heart of hearts that you're getting everything you want out of life. And because they're not, they look at you as the enemy. See, in their mind, you can't just be a nice person. Being nice has to come with an ulterior motive. Because if being nice was so easy, why aren't they nice? Why don't they feel good about themselves? Many people don't understand that just because you're a nice person doesn't mean things are going all hunky-dory in your life. It doesn't mean that everything is just fantastic. You could be going through anything, but being a nice person, that is a part of your character. That is a character trait. And so if you're surrounded by people who don't even understand that, and they think that you must have some ulterior motive simply because you're nice to people, you need to reassess your surroundings and reassess your circle. Attacking nice people is a defense mechanism. It makes you feel better about yourself to be mean to someone who's nice. Because you know you can't be mean to another person that's mean, because you'll probably have a fight. You probably have a fight on your hands if you do. The number two reason people act like you being a nice guy is so toxic to them. Most people settle for intimately dissatisfying relationships. So they're in a relationship with someone they don't really want to be with. They're in a long-term relationship with someone that should have just been a short-term meeting, a short-term engagement, a short-term arrangement. Now, you couple that with having kids with that person that you never even wanted to be with in the first place. And so their home life is miserable. The majority of the people you meet out, they look so mean, they look so mad because their home lives are terrible. Their work lives are terrible. Their personal lives are terrible. Their friendships are terrible. Their familial bonds are terrible. Their financial situation is terrible. Their physical health is terrible. How can someone embrace you being nice when they don't have anything to be happy about? Don't you understand they call you nice simply because you're happy? Simply because you don't have an ulterior motive? Simply because you're not out to use or take advantage of someone? Nice people are taken advantage of because people don't believe that there's any nice people left. They believe that if you're being that, you're trying to bamboozle them. You're trying to put them in the mindset that you can be trusted so you can do what everyone else has done in their lives. stab them in the back. So when you think about it, some of the nicest people around are single people. The next nicest people around are people who are actually in a relationship with someone they love being with, someone they enjoy being with, someone who is the yin to their yang. But you look at all the relationship trauma and drama that's going on in this society, and you'll understand that the majority of people are not even with the person they want to be with. Can you imagine wanting to be with someone, but having to be with someone else? Or even worse, wanting to be by yourself, but having to be with someone. Or feeling like you have to, because remember, we all have choices. The number 3 reason that people act like you being a nice person is such a terrible thing to be. They're far too accustomed to emotional immaturity. You know what emotional immaturity is? Emotional dishonesty. We'll do another show about that later on this week. Most people are so used to being emotionally dishonest and having other people be emotionally dishonest with them, they can't believe you when you say that you want to do something for them for nothing in return. They can't believe when you say you want to be considerate of them. What you have is the ability to make people live in fear. They live in fear that you're being nice because you're going to take advantage of them. Or they live in fear that you're being nice because their karma for being mean is just trying to set them up and make them drop their guard. And so what happens when you're nice, people, instead of lowering their guard, they raise it even higher. They raise the wall even higher. They reinforce the wall with barbed wire. I'm telling you, you being nice makes people look at themselves and think about the times they weren't nice. Or look at themselves and think about the times when people weren't nice to them. Both of these have the same effect. It makes someone say, I don't trust nice people. And so when you think about the society we live in, where people look at someone who's fair, someone who's caring, someone who's sharing, someone who's not going to take advantage of them, and they look at you as the enemy, what does that tell you? When you're a nice person, you have to find your tribe. And it's going to be a very small tribe, but it's going to be a very happy tribe. The number 4 reason that people tend to act like you being a nice person is such a thorn in their side that they have to attack you for it is they can't rely on the consistent kindness of the people they trust. If you grew up in a household with mean parents, do you know how difficult it's going to be for you to embrace somebody being nice to you? Because you're going to develop into the type of person who lives like you're constantly under attack. You're going to just be at war with kindness because you're going to put up this wall. You're going to put up this defense mechanism that says, I just better be hard. I just better be tough. I just better be rough. I just better be strong. I can't let my guard down at all. And so you got nice people passing you by all the time. Think about how many people you were genuinely nice to in your life who dropped the ball on that, who didn't even know how to embrace it. Now, I'm not telling you to go back to those people. I'm not telling you that's your fault. I'm telling you that those people have issues, and those people's issue is that they weren't prepared for someone as good as you in their lives. Stop telling yourself that you were too good. No, they were too bad. They weren't good enough. There's no such thing as being too nice. There's no such thing as being too good. There's no such thing as being too fair. There's no such thing as being too caring. There's no such thing as being too thoughtful. There's no such thing as being too considerate. There's a such thing as not being considerate enough, not being thoughtful enough, not being nice enough, not being kind enough, not being trustworthy enough. And so the reality is you have to make sure that you're not surrounding yourself with people who don't have enough of those characteristics. So you don't have to think about dumbing yours down so you could be around these people. Those people aren't meant to be in your presence. The number 5 reason that people act like you being kind or you being nice or you being fair is such an issue that they need to treat you like the enemy is they deal with the recurrence of letdown and disappointment from those they love and trust to, how do I say, lead a comfortable reliance on trust as a safe space. They can't use trust as a safe space because everyone's been so mean. Everyone they ever trusted to be kind was mean. Everyone they ever trusted to keep them safe didn't keep them safe. Everyone they ever trusted to be considerate wasn't considerate. So when a trustworthy person comes along, they don't know what to do with that. They don't know how to trust someone. Everyone they've ever trusted has not been a nice person. Everyone they've ever trusted have not been considerate. Everyone they've ever trusted have not been selfless. So you have to think about a person in that position who has never known anyone that they could trust. What do you think? Just because you're nice, they're just going to turn it on? No. That's why you have to find people who haven't been hurt like that. Find people whose trust and consideration for others has not been shattered like that, because those are the only people that are going to benefit from your presence, and the only people whose presence you're going to benefit from. You can't grow around people who are against who you are already. You have to become someone different. It's like if you take a kid from the suburbs and you put them in the projects, eventually that kid has to adapt and change from being the good, stable, wholesome kid that they were, and they have to become a shark, because now you've taken them out of their own little fish tank, with the nice little shipwreck in there and a nice little plant and all of that, with the clear glass that's always clean. You've taken them out of that and you put them into a cesspool with genetically engineered sharks that bite even when they're not hungry. So what do you expect that kid to do? It's the same thing we're dealing with out here. We're dealing with people that have never been prepared to deal with people who are nice. They have never been prepared to be around nice people. They've never been prepared to even be treated like a human being. Do you know how many people don't even know what it's like to truly be treated like a human being? That's what we're dealing with out here. There's a defensive posturing against believing in good people. The majority of people you meet don't believe in good people. When you see someone striving to be a good person, those are the only people you can give a chance. If you don't see someone striving to be a good person, don't even give that person a chance. And I'm not saying let that person in. I'm saying give that person a chance, because at least they seem on the surface to share a similar thought process with you. Now, their actions are going to prove that. But if that's not even their mindset, man, you have to avoid those people. Now, in your personal life, now you if you're gonna do business, you can't really, have a personal expectation of people in business. You do business with them and then you leave it alone. But when it comes to your personal life, your personal space, everything in your life is going to be mostly affected by who you allow in your personal space. Your ability to make money in your business space can be affected by who you allow in your personal space. Your ability to save money, your ability to value money, your ability to keep money, invest money, all of those things can be affected by who's in your personal life. Your personal life, you can separate it easily from your business life. What goes on in your business life does not have to affect your personal life at all. It can, but it doesn't have to. What goes on in your personal life is going to affect your business life. So you have to be very careful with that and understand when you're dealing with those people who are, dealing with that defense mechanism and that defensive posturing against believing in good people. It's easier for people not to believe in you because you're good. It's easier for people not to believe in you because you're nice, because you're righteous, because you're an upstanding citizen, because you do things the right way, because you don't take advantage of someone, because if you find someone's wallet, you're going to turn it in somewhere. And we don't deserve that. When you're a nice person, when you're a good person, a considerate person, that energy comes back to you. I'll never forget. I was at Publix. I was at a Publix in Atlanta, actually in Sandy Springs. My mom lives in Sandy Springs. So I was at a Publix in Sandy Springs, picking up some things for my mom, right? I go in, leave my card holder on the counter, like at the register. Just leave my card holder there. I leave. I was stopping somewhere else, and I realized that I didn't have my card holder. The grocery store was the only place I had been. Went back, went up to the front. Well, first I traced my steps in the parking lot, and then I went back up to the customer service desk in the grocery store. Told them what my name was. There it was. Nothing removed. Had a little bit of cash in the money holder clip. Nothing removed. And that's the kind of energy that I try to put out into the world, because that's the energy I want back. I want positive energy coming back my way. I don't want any negative energy. I don't want anyone saying that, hey, that guy can't be trusted. I don't want anyone saying, hey, that guy, he owed me and didn't pay me. I don't want anyone saying, hey, that guy right there, he's inconsiderate. I don't want anyone saying, hey, that guy right there, he's not somebody you can trust. He'll do damage to you. That guy right there, he's not fair. He's inconsiderate. He's thoughtless. He's cruel. He's evil. I don't want anyone saying those things about me. Why? I don't care what people say, but that's not who I am. If you're going to talk about me, then talk about me from an authentic perspective of who I am. You know what I mean? The number 6 reason that people look at you being a nice guy or you being a kind person as a weakness or something they should attack. Some people believe that rejecting before being rejected gives them the upper hand. It keeps them from falling weak to someone who's acting like they're nice, but they're really not. Someone who's trying to set them up to be taken advantage of. So what they do, you're nice, they shut it down before they have an opportunity to be bamboozled by it, before they have an opportunity to be taken advantage by it, before they have an opportunity to be, so enthralled by it and so amused by it that they drop their guard down and then they're under attack. Many people do that. Many people believe in rejection before being rejected as a means of having the upper hand in a situation. And so they'll interact with you and they'll do something terrible, unfair, inconsiderate, just out of the blue for no reason. That's how they'll repay your kindness. Only because they want you to stop being kind. They don't want to have to deal with the guessing game of whether you're authentically kind or whether you're trying to get over on them. Many people understand that anytime they have been in a situation where someone faked like they were kind to them, it wasn't real. It wasn't authentic. We live in a society where they say everyone wears a mask. There's the representative and then there's the person. That in itself is an example of taking kindness for weakness. Everyone puts on a mask because people are afraid to be kind. People are afraid to be thoughtful. People are afraid to be nice. And what I'm telling you, don't let a society that's built like that change you into that like it's the biggest society in the world. It's not. If you live in the US, it only represents 4% of the world's population. 4%, not 40%, not 14%, 4% of the world's population. How can you base who you are on 4% of the population? It doesn't matter. You got to be who you are. Don't let this society change you into someone that you're not. You think about how toxic it is to refuse to believe that someone truly likes you enough to be nice and caring. If you're a man out here, how can you truly believe that you don't deserve a woman who's sweet and considerate? If you're a woman out here, how can you truly deserve that you don't deserve a man who's thoughtful and mature and patient? Your children don't deserve parents that are patient, thoughtful, and loving. Your employees don't deserve an employer that's considerate and fair and is dedicated to the business as he wants his employees to be. Your employer doesn't deserve someone who's going to be to work on time and do what they're supposed to do while they're there. Your community doesn't deserve someone who's going to look out and make sure that they don't see if they see someone breaking in your home, they call the authorities. People are allergic to vulnerability, but we're human beings. We're built to be vulnerable. We're vulnerable in everything. That's why we don't go out into the woods. That's why we don't go in certain places. That's why we don't go to certain places certain times a year. That's why we don't go deep into Alaska unless we just want to live out there. That's why we don't go where there's going to be harmful things. That's why we don't just volunteer to go in areas where the crime is high. We don't do these things. Why? Because we're vulnerable. But we're afraid to be vulnerable with one another because of all the things I just mentioned. It's hard to believe that someone is truly who they say they are unless they say they're a monster. If I tell you I'm a monster, you believe it. If I tell you I'm a puppy, you don't. The number 7 reason that people take your kindness for weakness and believe that your kindness isn't even authentic is people don't really take kindness as a weakness. They take it as a threat. It's a threat to what they're used to. It's a threat to what they know. is a threat to their protective measure of keeping threatening energy from overtaking them. Like they always want to be prepared for war just in case. And so the only way to be prepared for war is to be standing on the front line armed already. You know what I'm saying? Like people, you think about the society we live in, and this is tough because every society isn't like this. You have to prove to people that you're good, truly good, or they just automatically assume you're bad. Now, not that long ago in this very society, people would assume you were good until you showed them you're bad. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Social media has a lot to do with this. Anytime something is magnified by 1,000,000, it just seems more believable. Now, it could be a very small thing, but if you magnify by 1,000,000, then everybody's going to think it's a lot. If you got $1 and I magnify by 1,000,000 and now you have $1,000,000, you're going to think you have a lot of money until you realize in this society, maybe not. Maybe not as much as you thought it was. Now you take a person that's got 900,000, I give them another 100,000, they got 1,000,000, but it means a lot less to them. The problem is in this society, everybody's thinking like and acting like they got 900,000 when really they only got $1. So the value of having someone in your life that's kind and considerate and sweet and caring, we don't even know the value of it because the majority of people have never had it. You don't know the value of something until you've had it. You just don't know the value of something until you've had it. Until you've experienced how it can alter your life in a positive manner, you don't know what you have. And the reality is a lot of times people don't even want to take the chance to know. People just don't want to take that chance. We have such a fear of being made a fool of that we would rather just be a fool ourselves. Before I let you fool me, I'd rather just fool myself and just miss out on the great quality person that you are. Just let me talk myself out of this situation. You know what I mean? Let me talk myself out of this because no, I don't even want to take no chances. I don't deserve it. And so even if it's there, it's not for me. I just want to stay away from it. I don't keep all the nice people away from me. That's what people's mindset is today. And I'm going to tell you another one. A lot of times people are simply afraid of nice people because they've never met any. You've got some people who used to be nice and kind and considerate to people, and they got burnt so many times that they simply decided this isn't for me. I don't want to do this. I'm not going to be it, and I'm not going to trust it. So now they believe that they were the last nice, considerate, sweet, kind, caring person in the world. And so by the time they come across you, that ship has sailed in their lives. They're not taking a chance with it anymore. And it's a tough situation to be in. Very tough situation to be in. Because then it subconsciously, in a twisted way, makes you afraid of relationship success. And I don't just mean intimate relationships. I mean business relationships, friendships. It makes you have a fear of relationship success because not trusting someone to be who you want them to be, trusting someone to be who they say they are, it takes that to build all relationships. All relationships. Business, personal, friendship, familiar relationships, all of them are built based on believing that someone is who they say they are. So when people take your kindness for weakness, they don't even have the capacity to build successful relationships because they're too afraid to do the things necessary. Right. Just know that you don't have to change to stop being who you are. You just have to rearrange the people who you allow in your space. And that may be easier said than done for you. But then is it? Because it will seem like if you can't govern anything else, you can govern your personal life. All right, listen. I'm glad y'all tuned into this one. I'll see y'all on the next one. We'll be back tomorrow. Got a phenomenal show tomorrow. We'll talk about understanding the value of relationships or the lack thereof. Why you shouldn't be worried about having a bunch of friends. That'll be our show for tomorrow. Listen, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate everything you do for the channel. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Like this video. Click that bell when you subscribe so you can be notified immediately when I upload again. Other than that, God bless y'all.